Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Outer Rim Cantina. My name's Alan, and today I am here to give you guys a recap of Star Wars Celebration 2023, which just ended a few days ago, and surprisingly, we got quite a lot of announcements and new content coming down the pipeline that I honestly was not expecting there to be. Like, going into this, I was expecting this celebration to be kind of lackluster in terms of big surprise announcements. Like, I expected there to be an Ahsoka trailer and then like a first look at the Acolyte, maybe a little bit about Skeleton Crew, and then that was going to be it for the big TV show stuff. And because I really didn't think they had any sort of movie content planned at all, based on all of the rumors we've been hearing for the last year now about pretty much every single film project Lucasfilm tries to get off the ground. It ends up having creative differences with the writers and the directors, and they keep switching people around, firing people, hiring people, and eventually just shelving projects. But apparently that's not actually the case. So we got quite a lot for this celebration, like I said, so let's just jump into this recap and start hitting everything one by one, starting with the Ahsoka trailer. So we got the full-length, publicly released trailer, which is a very important bit here, a publicly released trailer for Ahsoka that showed us pretty much everything we wanted to see. The Ghost Crew, obviously Ahsoka herself. We got to see some brand new characters, notably a new character named Balin, who is wielding what looks like some ancient type of lightsaber that is like a blood orange type color, which is strangely similar to a lightsaber color crystal you can get in the Star Wars The Old Republic MMO game, which that is actually kind of important for something I'm going to touch on later in the video. But of course, we saw Lars Mikkelsen as Thrawn and got the confirmation that, of course, he is obviously coming back to play Thrawn after lying about it for about a year now. And of course, we get to see a tiny little glimpse of Ezra, and we got the official release date, which is August 23rd, 2023. So it's basically just right around the corner at this point. And all I've got to say after watching this trailer multiple times now is I'm actually really excited for this show. Like, going into this, I was of the mindset, it was gonna be fine, wasn't really gonna be mind-blowing. I was honestly still salty that the Rebels sequel series wasn't going to be animated, which admittedly I still am a little bit, but I think this trailer kind of blew everybody's expectations for this show out of the water, and at least from what they showed in the trailer, it is gearing up to be really good, which also makes sense because obviously this series is Dave Filoni's baby. It has been the thing that he's dreamed of, ever since the early 2010s when he was working on Star Wars The Clone Wars, right? So it's obviously gonna be pretty good. But speaking of more big announcements, we got 3 movie announcements when we were expecting none. So apparently the last thing they did at the Lucasfilm panel on the first day of Celebration was actually talk about the movies. Still upset that they didn't stream any of these big panels, but that's kind of par for the course these days, unfortunately. But anyways, exciting news, there's going to be 3 Star Wars movies that are definitively actually going to happen. They are not going to get shelved or canned or kicked down the road or anything. These movies are set pretty much in stone and are actually going to happen. Now, obviously, we didn't get any release dates or release windows really for any of these, but they will be coming at some point, one of which will be in 2025 because that Disney movie release date is still there. It's still set for Star Wars. So one of these 3 movies is going to be coming out in 2025. But what are these 3 movies? Well, first of all, we have a brand new movie by James Mangold, or directed by James Mangold. He's also directing Indiana Jones 5, and it's going to be a Dawn of the Jedi movie. Yeah, you heard that right. They're doing a Dawn of the Jedi movie, something I don't think anybody expected them to do ever. Because if you know anything about the expanded universe, the Dawn of the Jedi series of stories are really really cool, talking about the first Force users discovering the Force, the light side, the dark side, creating life, all of this really cool stuff, tens of thousands of years before what we see in the movies or any of the other books or anything, and it is happening, it is real, and this is the one I'm like the most excited for. This sounds so cool because when Mangold was talking about it, he said, quote, he wanted to do a biblical epic answering the question, where did the Force come from? So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Everything really I wanted from a new Star Wars movie, which is to escape this like 50 to 60 year time period of the Skywalker saga and expand everything outward and do really new and unique things, which is exactly what we're getting, and also the Old Republic era, which is, like my second favorite era in all of Star Wars next to the prequels and the Clone Wars. So this is really, really cool. I can't wait for it. Do I think it's going to be the 2025 movie? Probably not. This one's probably going to be several years down the line, but still, it's probably the one I'm most excited for. The next one they announced is a film by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, who recently was the showrunner for the Ms. Marvel series on Disney+. She is doing a new Jedi Order series. Now, this one also took people by surprise because, again, they are expanding outward from this 60-year Skywalker saga time period. This film is going to be set after the events of The Rise of Skywalker, and yes, it is going to feature Daisy Ridley coming back as Rey Skywalker to build up a new Jedi Order and expand the timeline outward into the future and really go into uncharted territory that hasn't been explored in either canon or the expanded universe. So it's really cool. I'm super excited to see Daisy back. I hope that they are able to get some of the other sequel trio cast members back, Oscar Isaac, even though I know he's said he kind of isn't interested in coming back to Star Wars. Of course, Adam Driver as Ben Solo would be great to see if they bring him back in some capacity. And then obviously bringing back John Boyega as Finn and giving his character some actual, genuine closure and development, making him a Jedi in Rey's new Jedi Order. That would be awesome to see, but we don't have any other details other than that as of right now, so we will just have to wait and see. And the third and final film that they announced is one by Dave Filoni, centering on the New Republic. So this is a project that has kind of been rumored now for a couple of years, that Dave Filoni is going to do a kind of Avengers-style team-up movie to wrap up all of the events of the Disney Plus series. So The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, all of those stories are going to come together into one big movie where they're probably going to go and fight Thrawn in some capacity and make it some version of the old Heir to the Empire storyline from the expanded universe. So that's still super hype. We already kind of knew this was going to be a thing, but still super excited for it. That's probably going to be fantastic. Kathleen Kennedy did say that this one is probably going to be the last in the release order for these three. She said it's probably like 6 to 7 years out because we still have to wrap up The Mandalorian with season 4, maybe even a season 5, Ahsoka, which may get a second season, we still have Skeleton Crew to go, and maybe a second season of the Book of Boba Fett. So there's a lot of stuff up in the air with the stories for all of these individual shows before they can be brought together into a movie, but still super exciting that we actually have a definitive answer that, yeah, all of these series are going to be leading into a new movie. But that is not all of the movie news we got. Kathleen Kennedy also did give some updates on some of the other rumored Star Wars projects that are going on and in various stages of development right now. So the first one she talked about was Taika Waititi's movie, where she said that yes, it's still happening, he is still writing it, and has pretty much said that he wants to be left alone to let him do his own thing with it, which, to be honest, I think that's the best thing you could possibly do with a Taika Waititi film, is just leave him alone, let him do his own thing, work at his own pace. The second movie she talked about was Rogue Squadron, which we know was recently canceled and then uncanceled and then canceled again, and there's been a big old thing with it. But Kathleen Kennedy said that while there are no current plans to make a Rogue Squadron film, the idea is still on the table and could possibly come back as a film at some point in the future after they're finished with these 3 movies they just announced, or maybe a series on Disney Plus. And if they go that route, I'm kind of hoping they maybe use that Rogue Squadron series as a replacement for the canceled Rangers of the New Republic show, because that was like the other Disney Plus project I was the most excited for. But, unfortunately, it's not happening anymore because of certain people causing certain issues. But whatever, it's still on the table apparently. And she also surprisingly did mention the Kevin Feige movie, where she said that whoever came up with that rumor is just wrong. He was never actually going to work on a Star Wars movie. So there's that. Now, obviously, there's always the potential for him to do one in the future, I guess, but she did say definitively that he was absolutely not doing anything with Star Wars as of right now, or in the near future. And she did mention Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy, where she said, yes, he still wants to do it. Lucasfilm still wants to do it. It's just a matter of Rian Johnson is still working on the Knives Out trilogy. He's working on the 3rd film right now. He also did a new series called Poker Face. So he's been really busy with other projects outside of Star Wars. So we will probably see that eventually, just not anytime in the near future. And the last rumored project, well, not really rumored in this case, the last project that she gave an update on was the Lando series, where actually both she and Donald Glover gave some recent updates on this, where they've both now said that, yeah, they're talking to each other and just trying to figure out scheduling and production stuff and how all of that can work, because Donald Glover is Donald Glover, so he's obviously just really busy with stuff, but he did say he still really wants to go back and play Lando, so hopefully someday in the next 10 years, maybe, we will actually see the Lando series. But that is it as far as the movie updates and announcement goes, and that was so much more than I was ever expecting to get. And so it just, it kind of restored mine and a lot of other people's faith in Star Wars on the big screen, because there was, for the last several years, they've said that, we're going to focus on the small screen, just doing Disney Plus stuff, and kind of work on reorganizing how we go about doing Star Wars movies in the future. So it's good to see that we're getting to the kind of culmination of that, where hopefully they don't run into any more issues, or as many issues as they did when they were making the sequel trilogy. So we will just have to wait and see, but the future of Star Wars movies does look bright. But speaking of Disney Plus series, we did get our first look at The Acolyte, the series that I'm personally the most excited for out of all of the upcoming projects. They showed a Celebration exclusive trailer, so it wasn't released to the public, unfortunately, and they didn't stream the panel or anything, unfortunately. Again, it's the dumbest thing ever, but whatever. Anyways, we got some more information on The Acolyte, and it's made me even more excited for this series. So, the Wookie Jedi that we've seen in kind of leaked set pictures, and I think showed up in the trailer that they showed, also showed up on the Celebration stage, played by Ioannis Suetomo, who has played Chewbacca in pretty much all of the modern Star Wars stuff besides The Force Awakens. So he is playing a new Wookiee Jedi Master character named Kel Naka. Apparently they will be pretty prominently featured throughout the series, so that's super hyped to see. Always love a new Wookiee character. I think they're great, and the fact that it's played by Ioannis Suetomo is just icing on the cake. Love it. And Leslie Headland came out and talked a little bit more about the series itself and the inspirations for it. So she said that it is going to be the story is going to be told from a villain perspective, which she said was always something that she's been super interested in. And we also know definitively that the series is going to be set in the High Republic era, kind of near the end of that era when it starts transitioning into the prequels and the time right before The Phantom Menace. And a big surprise that we got actually was a new casting announcement for the series. So Rebecca Henderson is going to play Vernestra Rwoh, and if you've been keeping up with the High Republic publishing initiative, so all the books and comics that they've been doing over the last few years, Vernestra Rwoh is a prominent Jedi Knight in that series, so the fact that we're actually going to get to see her come from the page to the screen in the Acolyte is just so cool. I love it, and Vernestra is just a great character anyways, so I can't wait to see what they're able to do with her in the show. And we also know that the series is kind of inspired by samurai and martial arts films, and Leslie Headland said that she really looked back at all of the movies that inspired George Lucas to make the original Star Wars. So super hyped for this show. I think it's going to be amazing. Nobody's gonna see it coming, kind of like Andor, and it's gonna be great. And they did say that they are aiming for a 2024 release. Now, they didn't give any kind of window for that, whether it's the fall, the spring, the summer, whatever, so 2024 will be the Acolyte year whenever it decides to be released. And to round out the Disney Plus and movie news stuff, we did actually get a first look at Skeleton Crew, and the cast and crew kind of talked a little bit about it, saying that it is inspired by 80s Amblin movies, and Jude Law also came out and confirmed that he is playing a Jedi character, and they also showed a little, again, Celebration exclusive teaser trailer for the show, so hopefully we will be seeing full public releases of these trailers within the next few months, although I don't really expect anything from Skeleton Crew until maybe closer to the end of the year. I could see maybe getting another Acolyte trailer that's released to the public sometime after Ahsoka comes out, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now, moving over to more of the High Republic news, they, of course, got their own panel at Star Wars Celebration where they talked all about Phase 3 and the upcoming stories within it. So they announced that the Dr. Aphra author, Alyssa Wong, is joining the team of High Republic authors, and they've announced the complete slate of adults, young adults, and middle grade novels. Starting with The Eye of Darkness by George Mann, who recently wrote The Battle of Jeddah for the High Republic Phase 2. So that's coming out November 14th of this year. And we all have Temptation of the Force by Tessa Gratton, which is coming out summer of 24, and the final adult novel in the High Republic series, this first publishing initiative, at least, is titled Trials of the Jedi, written by Charles Soule, and is going to be released in spring of 2025, which is going to mark the official end of the High Republic era. For now, I'd imagine we're going to get a lot more content ramping up with it here in the next couple of years, so somehow I don't think when Trials of the Jedi comes out, I don't think we're going to be lacking for High Republic content for a while. But as for the YA novels, we have Defy the Storm by Tessa Gratton and Justina Ireland, which is releasing March 12th of 2024, and I actually just finished reading Path of Deceit, which you can kind of see in my little book collection back there hiding behind my copy of Catalyst. I just finished that the other day. It was fantastic, genuinely a really, really good Star Wars book, and probably one of my favorite, or actually my favorite young adult High Republic books. It was so good. So it's good to see them teaming up again to write another book. It's going to be an absolute banger if Path of Deceit is anything to go off of. And we also have Tears of the Nameless by George Mann, releasing in fall of 24. And finally, we have Into the Light by Claudia Gray, releasing in spring of 25, which may or may not, will probably actually be a continuation of Into the Dark, also written by her, released a couple of years ago, which was also a really, really good Star Wars book. And for the middle grade novels, we have Escape from Valo by Daniel Jose Older and Alyssa Wong, releasing January 30th of 2024. Beware the Nameless by Zordea Cordova in summer of 24. And finally, A Valiant Vow by Justina Ireland, releasing in spring of 25. And, of course, the High Republic is getting its Phase 3 comic run also written by Cavan Scott, like all the previous runs have, the first issue of which is coming in December of 2023. So moving on from that, we got some Hasbro Black Series reveals. There were a ton, so I'm not going to hit all of them, obviously, but we did get some cool Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary figures and stuff that's coming down the line. Also a brand new Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary Monopoly game set that actually looks interesting. We're also getting a Chopper RC animatronic figure that's branded after the Ahsoka series that's coming out later this year. We're getting a 327th Battalion or Ahsoka's Battalion helmet from the Clone Wars Season 7 from Hasbro Black Series. We're getting a Cad Bane and Cobb Vanth figure pack from the Book of Boba Fett. We're getting a Gaming Greats Old Master Darth Maul skin from Battlefront 2. We're getting Bad Batch Season 2 figures. And finally, we're getting a Vintage Collection Mandalorian in 1 Starfighter. So moving on, we got news, some more surprising news at the Clone Wars Anniversary panel, which is that Tales of the Jedi is getting a Season 2. So Dave Filoni just kind of dropped that little nugget of information without any other details whatsoever, so he didn't give any hints as to who these stories might be focusing on this time around, because last time we got Dooku and Ahsoka, so he didn't say who the stories were going to focus on this time around. He didn't give a release date, he didn't say anything other than Tales of the Jedi Season 2 is happening. He said he liked doing Season 1 so much that he sat down and just banged out a couple more. So hopefully we're going to see that pretty soon. It'll probably be sometime in 2024, if I had to guess, well after the Bad Batch is completed. But moving on, we did get a brand new trailer for Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Stig Asmussen talked a little bit more about the game, gave some info and insight onto that, but of course, not spoiling any of the story. They've kept that very, very hidden, even up until this point. And of course, the game is coming out April 28th, which is just in a few weeks, and I'm super hyped to play it. I will probably end up streaming it the weekend of release here on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, hit that subscribe button down there, turn on notifications so you don't miss that. But moving on, we got another announcement from Dark Horse Comics. So, as many of you probably know if you're interested in comics, Dark Horse is back making Star Wars stories again, after they are pretty famous for doing the Star Wars Expanded Universe comics. So they're coming out with a new High Republic adventure stories, a new series called Tales from the Death Star, and a new issue of Hyperspace Stories, this time featuring Quinlan Voss making his return to Dark Horse Star Wars comics, going up against Cad Bane. And for the Lucasfilm Publishing panel, they dropped news about a whole lot of books that are coming out. So we got Star Wars Timelines, which is a brand new source book that kind of encapsulates everything from the High Republic to the Rise of the First Order. We got a 100 Objects source book, so kind of giving info on famous objects all throughout Star Wars. The Jedi Survivor art book was revealed. It's being released in December, and we're getting the Return of the Jedi from a Certain Point of View book. We're getting a brand new High Republic character encyclopedia, which I'm super excited about. We're getting a brand new Secrets of the Wookiees book to go along with the Secrets of the Jedi, the Sith, and Secrets of the Bounty Hunters that they've already released. So I didn't realize there was enough Wookiee lore to do an entire source book on them, but I guess there is. And, honestly, I'm really excited for it because, like I said earlier, I love Wookiees, so, that it works. They were also getting some Young Jedi Adventures storybooks to go along with the new series that is debuting on Disney Plus and Disney Junior starting May the 4th. And finally, we're getting a brand new Star Wars cookbook. And going back to some series news, Bad Batch is getting a Season 3 coming in 2024. They didn't give an official release date. They did give a Celebration exclusive teaser trailer, which apparently showed Wolf and some Republic Commandos, and some other interesting little tidbits, but didn't really give away anything, obviously. I think everybody kind of knew that the Bad Batch was going to get a Season 3 after the Season 2 finale, but they did confirm that Season 3 is going to be the last one, so after this, it's going to be done. Lucasfilm Animation is going to be moving on to other stuff, probably Tales of the Jedi Season 2, if I had to guess. So this is going to be the official end, but it's also good to know that this upcoming season is going to be the culmination of the entire story. So, it's going to go hard, because all of the final seasons of Star Wars animation projects just all go hard all the time. So it's going to be great. But apparently, Ming-Na Wen, who voices Fennec Shand in Bad Batch, apparently she kind of spoiled the reveal of Season 3 on, the first day of Celebration. So apparently she was doing some kind of meet and greet or whatever, and some fan came up talking about how much they like Fennec Shand and yada yada yada, and Ming-Na Wen was just like, oh yeah, I'm super excited, I'm gonna be back as Fennec in Season 3. And obviously that made its way to the internet, and the internet was super excited on Friday. But then, yeah, like I said, everybody kind of already knew there was going to be a Season 3, so it's not like she spoiled anything major, but I just find that incredibly hilarious. Anyways, moving on, back to comic news. The Marvel Comics panel gave us the announcement of a brand new crossover story. So they had just wrapped up the Bounty Hunter Wars storyline and the Crimson Empire storyline, I believe. So they're starting another one called Dark Droids, and the official kind of synopsis of this story is, quote, "In Dark Droids, a mysterious new threat called the Scourge corrupts droids, cyborgs, and everything in between, spreading chaos throughout the galaxy. Ajax Sigma, who first appeared in last year's Star Wars Revelations #1, will play a role in the saga, though his true intentions remain unknown." Now, personally, I haven't really been following any of the Star Wars comics that closely for the last several years, is why I'm way behind when it comes to the comic stories, but obviously I've heard fantastic things about the other Marvel crossovers, so this one's probably going to be a banger too, and who knows, maybe I'll just pick it up to read it out of pure curiosity. And one of the final announcements we got, well, not really announcements because we already knew it was coming, was of course the first official trailer for Visions Volume 2. So we know it is premiering on May the 4th, that's when all the episodes are dropping, and they showed off the trailer at Celebration. They actually made it publicly available so everybody got to enjoy it, and it looks absolutely amazing. Visions Volume 1 was one of my favorite things Lucasfilm has ever done over the last several years now, and Volume 2 looks to be even better than Volume 1 was. These shorts that they showed off were just fantastic. They look incredible. So that's going to be awesome. I'm super excited for that. And that was kind of the last bit of announcements and news we got from Celebration, which I know was a lot. This video was really, really long. But they did also, as per tradition, announce when and where the next Star Wars Celebration is going to be, which is Japan in 2025. So Star Wars Celebration is going back to Japan finally after many, many, many years. They're going to be in Chiba in 2025, kind of near the end of April. I think it's the 18th to the 20th of 2025, which of course will be for just in time for the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. So, because of all of these wonderful things, A, it's going to be in Japan, and B, it's going to be the 20th anniversary of my favorite Star Wars movie, I'm going to make an effort to try and be there. And so is my girlfriend. We're going to try and go. We're going to do our best to make an attempt to go, because both of us really want to go to Japan, and we both really want to go to Star Wars Celebration, and we both love Revenge of the Sith, so all of the stars are kind of aligning with what we really want to do. So we're just kind of hoping that the stars align for us actually being able to go and do that, which would be absolutely incredible, so we will just wait and see. But that is it for all of the Star Wars Celebration news. That was a whole lot to go over from an entire weekend of incredible reveals and brand new announcements. So as always, I would love to know what you think of any of these announcements down in the comments below. What was your favorite thing that was announced? What is the project that you're most excited for? Anything like that down there in the comments. That's all the time I've got for today. I hope to see you back here in the cantina next time for another Star Wars video. Until then, may the Force be with you.